In this week's ZT'L BeHa'Aloscha, we encounter the section about Pesach Sheni. Rashi, citing Chazal, notes something fascinating. Chronologically, this section should have appeared at the very beginning of Sefer Bamidbar. Yet the Torah deliberately delayed it because this section contains an implicit criticism of Klal Yisrael. During the 40 years in the wilderness, the Korban Pesach was brought only once. The Torah therefore chose not to open the Sefer with something that reflected negatively upon the Jewish people. At first glance, this is difficult to understand. And the Jewish people were not negligent. Chazal explained that they could not circumcise their children safely in the wilderness because the healing north wind did not blow during those years, making circumcision dangerous. And one whose son is uncircumcised may not bring the Korban Pesach. They were following halacha and protecting life. If so, why does the Torah regard this as a disgrace at all? The answer given by Rav Shmuel Dov Asher Biskvitzer, may his merit protect us, in his Sefer Neos Desha, is deeply penetrating. The inability to bring the Korban Pesach was not merely a technical problem. It was rooted in the aftermath of the sin of the Meraglim. Chazal teach that the healing north wind ceased blowing after the nation accepted the spies' slanderous report about Eretz Yisrael. The tragedy was therefore not simply that a Korban Pesach was not brought for 39 years. Rather, it is because the inability to bring the Korban Pesach flowed directly from the sin of the Meraglim. It was the spiritual consequence of a weakening of Emunah, a moment in which fear overshadowed trust in Hashem. The section of Pesach Sheni just intimates a major failure of the Jewish people. It's an implication, not a direct shaming. Nevertheless, the Torah did not wish to begin a sefer in that manner. That is a very deep and important lesson. The Torah rebukes, but the Torah does not define Jews by their shortcomings. The Torah's way is to begin with dignity, with Avas Yisrael, with an awareness of the greatness hidden within every Jew. Even when correction is necessary, it is not placed at the forefront. This touches upon one of the deepest principles in influencing others. My Rebbe, Rabbi Beryl Wein Zatzal, would often remark that Noach may have been the least successful kiruv worker in history. For 120 years, he warned his generation, pleaded with them, and built the ark before their eyes. Yet not a single person changed. Not one jumped onto the bandwagon. Rabbi Wein explained how this happened based on a midrash that Noach would always address the people with the same opening word, Shotim, fools. Even if the criticism was justified, one cannot build people by beginning with humiliation. When a message opens with condemnation, hearts close before minds can listen. Similarly, it is told that a Maggid once complained to the Chafetz Chaim that despite years of delivering fiery Musar sermons, people were not changing. The Chafetz Chaim asked him, "And how do you speak to them?" He responded, "I tell them how terrible they are. I describe their averos and their failures. I shake them to the core." The Chafetz Chaim answered gently, "People already know that they are lowly. Your task is to remind them how great they can become." That is the Torah's approach. Even when the Torah must speak about failure, it delays it, it softens it, it surrounds it with dignity. It begins not with a reminder of their sin, but with the eternal greatness of Klal Yisrael. Modern educational research has increasingly arrived at the same insight. People grow far more from encouragement than from shame. When individuals feel respected and believed in, they become capable of transformation. Criticism that attacks identity often produces defensiveness and despair. Correction, rooted in dignity, awakens growth. That's the Torah's approach to education. A Rebbe who constantly humiliates a student may succeed in producing fear, but rarely growth. A parent who speaks to a child as though the child is a disappointment may produce compliance, but often at the cost of confidence and closeness. And the same is true within marriage. When a husband and wife speak to one another primarily through criticism, fault-finding, and negativity, hearts slowly close. People flourish when they feel respected, valued, and believed in. Of course, Torah does not advocate avoiding difficult truths. Real love sometimes requires rebuke, but the Torah teaches that even rebuke must emerge from ahava, from love, from dignity, and from faith in the greatness of the other person. Truth spoken without love can break a spirit. Truth spoken with warmth and respect can elevate a soul. That is why Sefer Bamidbar could not begin with Pesach Sheni. A Sefer of the Torah must open not with the failure of the Jew, but with the greatness of the Jew. Only then can the Jew rise. Shabbat Shalom.